Hey guys, it's Utonia here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Rifter since it got changed in the Lifeblood expansion. I definitely think it's a lot stronger than it used to be. This change has been a bit controversial because a few people seem to feel like it's been nerfed or they feel indifferent about the change, and I certainly feel like it's been a buff. The reason why I think the Rifter was buffed is because before the Rifter was kind of in this really odd place. The Breacher was a better scram kiter than the Rifter. The Rifter does have the fall-off bonus on autocannons, but the Breacher would outdamage it, and because of the Breacher's bonuses, it also had better sustain at that range too, as well as more flexibility in selection of damage type. So the Rifter couldn't really compete with the Breacher at scram kiting. And the Slasher, thanks to the fact that it has a lower sig, it's faster, it has a tracking bonus, it has a more flexible slot layout if you want to do more of a control like dual prop fit, or just close range kind of brawling style fits with the utility hide that it has with a newt, try and go under people's guns and newt people out. It also has a better cap because it has the roll bonus to scrams and webs, as well as just really high natural regeneration. It can actually perma run a small newt, which is really powerful. So the Slasher was just way better at close range sort of brawling, going under guns, trying to cap people out, things like that, than the Rifter was. And so the Rifter was kind of in an odd place. Now with the loss of the utility high, but gaining the low slot, it's a much stronger brawler in my opinion. I've been using an armor fit for a while and I really enjoy it. I don't think it's quite top tier though. I definitely prefer flying the Kestrel, but it's really flexible actually, and it's pretty cool. So the fit that I've been using is 3 200mm autocannons in the high slots, just to get the most fall off and DPS. You can see here that I have a 10km fall off, which is quite nice, as well as I do about 150 DPS cold, which is also great on a frigate. I'm just running a compact Microwarpdrive, a fleeting named web, the faint a warp scrambler, small ancillary. I'm running a Tech 2 200mm steel plates. This is pretty nice. It just gives you a really decent armor buffer. It puts me up to 4.5k EHP. Most buffer tank shield frigates have about 5k, so it's close to like a buffer tank shield frigate, while still having the small ancillary, which is really cool. Then I have a Tech 2 Gyrostabilizer as well as a named damage control, just to give me more resist, more flexibility. In the high slot I'm running a Tech 2 Burst Aerator here, just for more DPS, and I'm running double hull rigs. Now you can run the armor rigs too, you can run Trimark pumps, or you could also run resistance rigs too. I think the Trimarks give you slightly more EHP than the Resistance Rigs, but the Resistance Rigs also increase your sustain a lot more because they increase the efficiency of your small ancillary armor repper. The reason why I'm going for the hull rigs here is just to not get the speed penalty. But you can swap those rigs out. You could also go Tech 1 on this and then go for like double ambits too if you want to exploit the fall-off bonus of the Rifter a little more. Or you could also go for, like one Tech 1 burst, one Tech 1 collision if you want slightly more DPS. But I think that it's not too efficient to not use up all of your rig slots. And I think this ends up being kind of the best thing for me. With Microwarpdrive on, the Rifter's actually really fast for a combat frigate. In fact, the only frigate that's actually faster than it, assuming no speed mods, is the Breacher. So it's great at catching things. Going 3k a second is pretty cool. That's also one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to fit double armor rigs, even though it would make the fit slightly stronger. It's just having the extra speed, and especially the base speed when you have someone scrammed and webbed is nice too. So the idea of this fit mostly is that you are going to be very reactive. Against lasers and missile ships, you're going to be brawling up close range. Against blaster ships, you're going to kite. Against autocannon ships that do not have a fall-off bonus, you're going to kite too. So if you're against, say, a Slasher or a Republic Fleet Firetail, you would try to leverage your fall-off bonus over them. Same against blaster ships, obviously. But against lasers, you want to come in close because Scorch will win against you at a scram kiting game, and of course rockets do damage to the entirety of scram range, so you might as well be up close and doing max DPS. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this Rifter fit. The Rifter is still very underestimated. I think it's definitely on par with ships like the Merlin, the Incursus, the Tormentor now, maybe. I still think the Kestrel is probably my favourite nullsec roaming Tech-1 frigate, but I have a unsatiated love for the Kestrel. So, yeah, the Rifter is definitely cool, and I've got a few really cool clips, I guess, to show off the Rifter in combat. So this first kill is pretty interesting. I just want to show you sort of the full clip. It is about 3 minutes. Just to kind of show you my thought process and how this kill actually ended up happening. So I went into darkness space, I went into a mining pocket. I got a fight with a Merlin a bit earlier, and now I'm just kind of trying to leave the pocket because they had like a super following me, as well as a healer and a super and a few like gate camping ships. So that's what I'm getting chased by right now. I'm getting chased by a Stiletto, a Malediction, and a super. Now, what I really want to do is try and get the Malediction or the Stiletto to tackle me ahead of the super and ahead of the other ships that may still be coming. I'm not sure if the healer or the super, or I think they had a Saber too at some point, are still following me. But right now I see the Stiletto and the Malediction on D-scan, as well as the super. So all three of these ships are still following me. Now, I know the super is already an artillery fit because I jumped into him and burned away, and what I really want to do is get a fight with the Malediction and Stiletto. I decided to control space here, and what I decided to do is, okay, I'm going to aggro the super and try and force him through. If he's in a gate camping fit, maybe he'll aggress me, and that's what he does. He just decides to aggress me at 0, which is cool, and I'm just able to get under his guns and avoid all of his DPS while slowly killing him. What's interesting is that the Stiletto and the Malediction don't actually come back to help him. They were waiting, I guess, for me to jump in to them, so then they can just tackle me down while the super snipes me out at range and kills me. But with the super aggressed here, they can't really do anything, and since the super actually doesn't do any damage to me, I'm still in good fighting shape. If the Stiletto and Malediction decide to come back and attack me at this point. I believe one of them comes back. The Malediction, I think, just jumped in, but he doesn't do anything because all of the DPS is dead, and it's very likely that I can solo kill both the both the Stiletto and Malediction if they commit to me at all. Otherwise, I can probably just de-aggress and jump the gate. I kind of chill on his wreck for a bit just to see if they will decloak and aggro me, but it looks like they don't do that, and it just looks like locals going up, so they're just trying to get more dudes together. And so yeah, it's a super kill on a Rifter. So in this next fight I jumped into a Merlin. I was just standing on this gate, and it looks like he wants to fight me. This is a darkness guy that was chasing me for a bit. So against an all-in Merlin, this is the same fit as the all-in Merlin video I did. Obviously I want to abuse the fact that I have a fall-off bonus and kite him out at range. I want to try and stay at about 5 kilometers, just so I can get max DPS, whereas he's just kind of on the edge of null at that range. And I should be able to wear him down. If he starts doing a lot of DPS to me too, I can maybe pull range a bit. But while I have my ancillary charges at least, let's kind of chill at 5k, trying to get max DPS, force him to use null. Maybe I should have kited him a bit further out. I was taking a bit of needless damage here, but also there were a few people following me around. There was that super from the earlier clip, as well as a Scepter and a few other ships. So really what's going in my mind is I want to kind of kill this guy as soon as possible, just in case he does have a backup on the way, but he doesn't actually have any backup. He was just trying to solo me, so I was able to take him down by just abusing the fact that I have the fall-off bonus. The Rifter's very flexible like that, which is really cool. It has pretty decent damage, and it doesn't always have to come in close. So in this next clip, I was just chilling in a COS mining system, couldn't really find anything. I saw a Gamma on the outgate. I assumed he was going to try and catch me on the other side, since I've been here about 2 minutes, so I guess he wanted to like camp me in or get in my pocket. I reload EMP because Gammas are normally shield tanked, and jump the gate. I just assumed that he's probably going to be a long range fit. Luckily, I haven't encountered too many DP Gammas, but since he's waiting on the gate, and Gate Cloak is a great way to catch these guys, He's like spawns almost in Scram and Web range to begin with, so by the time he reacts, I'm able to get the heated web on him, and then I just spam the Scram and get it. And yeah, Gate Cloak is a great way to catch these Garmas, because if they just wait on the gate, normally you can just decloak immediately and get a like heated web on them like that. I probably should have heated the MWD-2 because he almost just got away there. He was on the edge of Scram range for a long time. But yeah, since I caught the Gamma, this Gamma had a pretty decent fade, does a lot of DPS. Even with my plate, he's forcing me to run the Ancillary a lot. But because he's a cutting fit, the Ruling Rifter is able to take down the Gamma. Especially since he had Mjolnir Fury loaded, which worked out to my advantage because I have 65% EM resistances. So I want to show you this next fight because it's kind of weird how it started, and it kind of shows you that you should always expect the unexpected, and PvP can happen sometimes even when you're not expecting it. So in this clip, I'm in this dead-end horde mining pocket. I warped to a mining site where there was a bunch of Rorquals mining. I chilled there for a while just to sort of show my presence, and maybe they would bring a scepter or something to come attack me. And they brought a healer over, so I decided to warp off, and I've been in there for about 5 minutes too, so I didn't want to spend too long in this system because it's a system that Horde normally heavily gate camp because it's only got the one Stargate in the system. There's the Jaguar on the other side. Now Jaguar's not an ideal ship for me to fight. It's the Tech 2 Rifter hull, but it doesn't have the fall off bonus, so I figure, maybe I can engage him at like 9 kilometers maybe. If he has a bad ammo type like Hail, maybe there's a small chance that I can win. The biggest problem with the Jaguar mostly is the fact that it normally has a pretty decent tank, so it's hard to kill it before he gets help. But I warped to the sun, and I warped to the sun because I wanted to see if the Jaguar will follow me to the sun, because maybe he will come here and then I'll have some time to fight him 1v1 before he gets help from his friends, like the healer that was following me from the previous system that came to the mining site. But weirdly enough, I landed the sun and there's an Aerator here that attacks me, and he has a disruptor and a web. So more of a kiting style Aerator I thought initially, but it looks like he has a huge plate. So I guess this is an Aerator fit that he made to, I guess, as like some kind of like really tanky tackler. Luckily, he doesn't have too much in the way of DPS, so I do quite okay at sort of tanking him for a while, and I slowly whittle him down. He doesn't seem to have any kind of active rep here, so I'm able to slowly punch through him while repping up. And this is kind of strange because I never even expected to see the Aerator here, and I think a normal PvP Aerator would probably wreck me, but the healer lands now, but I'm able to get away by lining out and warping to this anomaly. What's kind of weird too is that the rattlesnake also comes out from the anomaly that I warped to warp to the Aerator. But yeah, man, just if you're looking for fights, sometimes just warping around gets you them, which is pretty cool. And finally, I have a fight with a Federation Navy Comet. This is a blaster Comet. He already aggroed me on the other side, so I know he has light neutron blasters. I think he's probably just in this kind of standard whole tank fit, like double maxed up small ancillary damage control, MW Scram Web, double neutron. That's pretty standard here. Here I was trying to get a bit of free damage on him, but I end up messing up pretty hard. I end up going a bit too close to him and take quite a lot of damage here. I think what I maybe should have done is try to kite him out a bit better to begin with. Maybe I should have also used Barrage 2 in this fight instead of Fusion. But at 7k, which is kind of where I was trying to be, I think RF Fusion is about equal to Barrage. I kind of find Mimitar Tech 2 ammo kind of weird, and it's hard to find the opportune time to use them because of the huge reload time. So here what I'm just trying to do is try and kite him out, get outside of his blaster range, although unfortunately I think it seems like he's reloaded into null, so I start taking a lot of DPS. I probably can't kill the free light drones in time. I can't take the web off him, otherwise he will get closer to me and his blaster DPS will go in anyway. But unfortunately, I made a big mistake. I didn't have my small ancillary on auto reload. It probably wouldn't have made a difference in this fight though. Yeah, the Comet with whole tank rigs is pretty strong, so I get him into at least 60% hull, which is pretty good. Pretty close fight, and I did most of the things that I wanted to do in this fight. Aside from having my small artillery and auto reload. Maybe if I had Trimarks, maybe if I had auto reload, maybe if I kited him out a bit better, maybe that fight's possible to win. But yeah, the Armor Brawl Rifter is pretty fun to fly. It's pretty cheap right now too. It doesn't cost a lot, which is great. Aside from the Tech 2 DPS rig, I guess it's about 10 mil for the fit right now. So yeah, I had a lot of fun flying the Rifter. I definitely recommend you check it out because it's a lot better than what people think. I definitely feel like it's maybe not quite as good as the Kestrel or the Tormentor in NullSec or the Breacher. It's almost on the same level though, but it's significantly underrated. In fact, a lot of people actually believe that the Rifter got nerfed with this change, and I guess for some maybe styles that could potentially be true, but it's certainly a much more formidable armor brawler now. And I think what a lot of people also don't realize is the Rifter actually has a really good resources. It has way more grid and CPU left over with autocannon fits than the Incursus has, for example, or the Tormentor does, which means you get that 200mm plate. And it has a bit more freedom on fitting too. You don't really need high skills. It still has over 5 power grid left over on my fit almost. So yeah, there's definitely 4.9 power grid left over. So even if you don't have advanced weapon upgrades, even if you maybe you don't even have the engineering skill at level 5, you can still fly this fit fine, and you can find the extra CPU too if you just go named on the gyro, named on the compact on the scram or something. So it's much more accessible to people who don't have to high fitting skills. And also another big point about the Rifter that I really liked is the fact that it is actually pretty fast. As I mentioned, going 3k a second even with the plate is nice. And there's also the shield fit too. I personally prefer this fit, but you can roll the shield fit, which I believe is also quite strong. The Rifter anyway, it's really fun to fly. It's much better than what people expect, and it is heavily underestimated. So go and kill Garmers and Interceptors all day.